Hello everyone, welcome to Complex Engineering. It's been a long time I'm uploading this video. So in this video again I'm going to talk about what are the faults which is taking in pantograph. This is one of the important fault, I would say. Pantograph does not raise and lower. What can be the reason for that? I have seen multiple times whenever turning the train on, pantograph does not raises on time, which creates so many difficulties, right? So what are the reasons for pantograph not raising on time, not lowering on time? What are the reasons for that? Going to talk about that in this video. So let's get started with the first point. Air bellow drive is defective. Now air bellow drive is defective. This is the possible cause. First reason, air bellow drive is defective. If air bellow drive is defective, then there will be some leakage of air, right? So we need to check the air bellow drive, and we need to we need to replace the air bellow drive if there is any leaking, if there is any leakage which has been found in air bellow drive. Apart from that, what are the another use of air bellow drive? First of all, let me tell you one thing. Air bellow drive is the integral component of pantograph assembly. Air bellow drive is responsible for breaking the static friction, or can say when the pantograph is at the lower position, then we need to break the static friction to bring the pantograph at the upper position, to bring the pantograph in contact with OHG. So in order to break the static friction, air bellow drive is one of the important part of pantograph. If there is air leaking from air bellow drive, then obviously there will be the wastage of pneumatic air. So, and I don't think so air bellow drive will create sufficient enough pressure in order to break the static friction, due to which pantograph will not raise. Now second is contact force is adjusted incorrectly. Now as I said sometimes back, that exactly is written over here. Contact force is adjusted incorrectly. Check and replace the air bellow drive. See, there is direct relation of static contact force with air bellow drive. Now you must have been thinking what actually the static contact force is. First of all, let me tell you, there are two kind of forces, two kind of frictions which is persisting in any system. First is the static friction, and second is the dynamic friction, or can say first is the static force and second is the dynamic force. Now we need to focus on static force. Now what actually the static force is? See, when the pantograph is at the lower position, then we need to break the static force which is restricting the pantograph to get trace, right? And when the pantograph is in contact with OHE, we need to maintain that static contact force, due to which pantograph will remain in contact with OHE. So what are we doing exactly here? We are breaking the static contact force. We are breaking the static force when the pantograph is at the lower position, in order to bring the pantograph to the upper position. We are breaking the static force when the pantograph is at the lower position, and we are maintaining the static force when the pantograph is at the upper position, when the pantograph is in the contact of OHE. I hope you got the point what actually I am trying to convey, right? So static contact force, it is one of the important force which we need to break when the pantograph is at the lower position, and which we need to maintain, which pantograph need to maintain when pantograph is in contact with OHE. Okay, so we need to check the static contact force. See, static contact force, it's a force which depends on several factors. We cannot consider only one point. Air bellow drive, if it is defective, then it will create some problem in air. If air bellow drive is defective, then there will be some problem which will create regarding static contact force. It is not like that. Static contact force depends on variety of factors. Like first of all, it depends on the material which has been used for design of pantograph. Apart from that, it also depends on the climatic condition, if climatic condition or temperature where our train is operating. Or we can also say static contact force depends on weight of carbon strip. It depends on several factors, right? It depends on, I would summarize, it depends on design of pantograph. It depends on component and material which has been used for designing of pantograph. It depends on the region where we are operating the train, right? So there are many factors over which this static contact force depends, right? So static contact force is adjusted incorrectly, right? So for that, we need to check and replace the air bellow drive, and we need to check several things. As I said sometimes back, we need to check the lubrication between moving parts of pantograph. We need to check the lubrication between upper frame and lower frame of pantograph, bearing assembly of pantograph. So all these are the important points that we need to check whenever pantograph is not raising. Okay, inner friction of pantograph is too high. As I said sometimes back, we need to check the lubrication of moving components, right? So inner friction of pantograph is too high, right? So if the friction is too high, obviously pantograph will not raise, right? Check the pantograph for damage. We need to check the damages, if there is any damages, if there is any abnormalities, we need to check that. especially check bearings. As I said sometimes back, what is the use of bearing? I already have discussed about all these things in my previous videos. Bearing, we need to check the lubrication of bearing, we need to check the balls of the bearing. If balls are broken, if there is improper lubrication in bearing, then obviously it would like it would restrict the raising of pantograph. So we need to check the bearing, we need to check the lubrication of bearing as well, right? Check static contact force. Obviously static contact force, see, I'm giving you an example. As I said sometimes, like static contact force depends on several factors. So here is also one more point through which we can understand static contact force. See, if friction is high, if bearings are not like operating properly, if bearings are not moving properly, then what will happen? Static contact force will get increased. Static contact force, if it is getting increased, then obviously pantograph will not raise. We need to like break this static contact force. If magnitude of static contact force is too low, then pantograph can be raised easily. If magnitude of static contact force is too high, then pantograph cannot be raised easily. So that's what I'm saying. If static contact force, if friction is too high, then static contact force will be high. If static contact force is high, then pantograph will not like raise on proper time. For breaking static contact force, there will be requirement of too much pressure, or can say too much force. Replace the damaged component. If there is any abnormalities, if there is any damage like is observed, then we need to like do the rectification of that as quick as possible. Cable with terminal torn. See, there is electrical connectivity in pantograph. All the components of pantograph are integral components of pantograph. Now you must have been thinking what I'm saying, integral components of pantograph. Like we have ODD, ADD, we have like carbon strip, we have current transformer, potential transformer. Each and everything are connected with the help of electrical connection and pneumatic connection. If there is any damage, if there is like any broken points existing, then obviously pantograph will not raise. So we need to check if there are any cables, cable terminals are torn, if there is any wires are torn, if there is any pneumatic connections are torn, then we need to check all these things. If there is any like abnormalities has been seen, then obviously pantograph will not raise and either it will lower. Replace the cable with terminal. If there is like if there is any cable is torn, if there is any wires are broken, if there is any pneumatic connections are broken, then we need to replace that as soon as possible. Leaking airline, as I said sometimes back, if there is any air leakage which is happening over the top, there is some pneumatic leakage which is happening in air bellow drive, or can say in pneumatic connection, then obviously it will result in drop of pressure. If pressure is getting dropped, then obviously pantograph will not raise. So we need to like replace the airline as soon as possible. Damper between lower frame and upper frame is defective. As we all know, damper, what exactly the damper is for damping the mechanical forces when train runs, right? So if dampers are defective, then we need to check the damper, we need to replace the damper as soon as possible. See, first of all, let me tell you what actually the damping process is. Damping, or like damping, is the process of reducing the magnitude of oscillation of any forces, right? If you would like consider the mechanical drawing of damping, then you will get like alternative sine wave. So that sine wave, the process of reducing the magnitude of that sine wave is known as damping. It is like this point is related with very core concept of engineering, so we need to discuss about it in some another video. Valve unit ADD has response check leakage and function of ADD. If ADD, automatic drop down device, as we all know about automatic drop down device, I have discussed about all this device, all this component. Automatic drop down device is operating falsely. If it is getting triggered falsely, then also pantograph will not raise or not lower, right? Check the leakage and function of ADD. In such cases we need to check the leakage and function of ADD, right? See, if ADD is operating unnecessarily, then pantograph will not raise. But in case pantograph is in the raise condition and ADD got triggered all of a sudden, then in such cases pantograph will come to its rest position, right? So that actually the case is. Pantograph does not raise. One of the important point, pantograph does not raise. Why? What are the reasons pantographs are not raising? ORD is activated unnecessarily. ORD, overreach detection device, maximum extinction device, both are the same component. If it is like getting activated falsely, then in such cases pantograph does not raises. Switch the mechanical wave valve by hand. In such cases there is this component named mechanical wave valve. We need to like adjust this mechanical wave valve. In such cases pantograph will get raised. See, I have seen this scenario multiple times while working in this sector, rolling stock department. I have seen what are the major issues of pantograph which is arising. First of all, practically I'm talking about all these things whatever we have discussed sometimes back. It is also an important point, and all these points also exist in practical scenario. But what have I seen so far, like there will be sparking in pantograph, ADD ORD, it is like getting activate falsely, it is getting trigger falsely. Apart from that, I have seen pantograph does not raises on time. The reason is ORD and MED, right? And sometimes whenever pantograph is at the like top position, I mean whenever it is in the rest condition, I mean raise condition, then all of a sudden it comes down. The reason is automatic drop down device. And I have seen sparking in current transformer as well. What are the reason for sparking in current transformer is the overcurrent. And another issues which I have seen regarding pantograph, whenever pantograph is in contact with OHE, then it is like tripping OHE current, due to which entire OHE like getting de-energized. So these are the main issues which I have seen while working in this like field. So that's it for this video. In my upcoming video I will try to show you all of this thing practically.